wiped the sweat from his forehead and looked at his tablet again. The numbers did not match. They never matched on delivery days. Someone always tried to cheat the station, and it was his job to catch them. Relay Station 7 floated in the empty space between three solar systems. It was not a beautiful place. The walls were metal. The air smelled like recycled oxygen and old food, but it was home now. Had lived here for 8 months working as a logistics coordinator. His job was simple on paper. He counted cargo. He checked manifests. He made sure traders did not lie about what they carried. In reality, his job was much harder. Relay Station 7 was a meeting point for dozens of alien species. Most of them did not trust humans. Humanity had only joined the galactic community 15 years ago. They were the new kids, the outsiders, the ones who still needed to prove themselves. Did not mind, he was patient. He smiled at insults. He stayed calm when traders screamed at him. He did his job well, and slowly some of the aliens began to respect him. Not many, but some. The trading hall was busy today. Walked through the crowd, checking his tablet. A group argued about shipping fees near the east gate. Their forearms waved in the air as they shouted. Near the food stalls, a merchant sold information to anyone who would pay. The snake-like creature had 3 customers already. They always wanted something from humans. He did not know why, but they found humanity fascinating. Their offers were never good. He stopped at Docking Bay 4 and looked up at the ship that had arrived that morning. The Crimson Fang. It was a vessel, and it made everyone nervous. They were not like other species. They looked like wolves that had learned to walk on 2 legs. They stood over 2 meters tall. Their bodies were covered in fur of different colors. Their teeth could bite through metal. Their claws could tear open doors. But it was not their appearance that scared people. It was their culture. Lived in packs. They had strict rules about territory, honor, and hierarchy. They did not forgive insults. They did not forget debts. And they claimed what they wanted through force. Most species avoided dealing with them directly. Did not have that choice. His job required him to process all cargo, even cargo. The ship's door opened and the crew walked out. There were 6 of them, 5 males with dark brown fur, and 1 female with silver fur that seemed to shine under the station lights. Had seen her before. Her name was impossible to pronounce in human language. He had tried 3 times during their first meeting, failing each time. Finally, she had sighed and told him to call her. It was not her real name, but it was close enough. Was different from the other. She did not growl at humans. She did not threaten merchants who annoyed her. She simply watched. Her amber eyes tracked everything that happened in the trading hall. She noticed details that others missed. Had noticed her noticing him. For the past few weeks, every time he looked up, she was there, watching from across the room, standing near the docking bays when he did inspections, sitting in the corner of the food hall when he ate lunch. At first he thought she was suspicious of him. Maybe she believed he was cheating her pack on cargo fees, but when he checked their accounts, everything was perfect. No missing items, no extra charges, nothing that would make her angry. So why was she watching? He did not ask. Asking a personal questions was dangerous. Their culture had complex rules about privacy and intention. A wrong question could be seen as a challenge, or worse, an invitation. Walked toward the crew and bowed his head slightly. It was a gesture of respect that he had learned from the station's cultural database. "Welcome back to Relay Station 7, he said. "Do you have cargo to declare?" The largest male stepped forward. His name was something like, and he was clearly the pack leader. He handed a data chip without speaking. Plugged it into his tablet and checked the manifest. Standard goods, machine parts, preserved food, medical supplies, nothing illegal, nothing unusual. "Everything looks correct," said. "You are cleared to unload at Bay 4C. Nodded and led his crew toward the cargo area, but did not follow. She stayed behind, her eyes fixed on. He pretended not to notice. He looked at his tablet. He checked the next ship on his list. He did everything he could to avoid meeting her gaze. "Human," she said. He looked up. "Yes." "You work many hours." It was not a question, but answered anyway. "The station is busy, lots of ships today." "You were here when the lights dimmed for night cycle. You were here when they brightened for day cycle. You did not sleep." He shrugged. There was a problem with the shipment it took time to fix. Tilted her head. It was a gesture that looked almost dog-like, and had to stop himself from smiling. He knew she would not appreciate the comparison. "You could have made others fix it," she said. "The night shift staff was tired. It was easier to do it myself." She stared at him for a long moment. Her amber eyes seemed to look through his skin into his thoughts. Then she made a sound low in her throat. It might have been approval. It might have been something else. "You are strange," she said, "for a human." Before he could respond, she turned and walked after her pack. Her silver tail swished behind her and noticed that other aliens moved out of her way quickly. They were afraid of her. He was not afraid. Maybe he should have been, but something about felt different. Dangerous, yes, but not hostile, at least not toward him. He went back to work. There were 20 more ships to process before the end of his shift. He did not have time to think about wolf women with strange questions. But as he walked through the trading hall, he felt eyes on his back. He did not need to turn around to know who was watching. Had not finished with him yet, he could feel it. He just did not know what she wanted. 3 days passed. The Crimson Fang was still docked at the station, waiting for a shipment of rare minerals from the outer colonies. Saw every day. In the cargo bays, in the corridors, in the trading hall. She never spoke to him again, but she was always there, watching. The other station workers noticed. They made jokes about it. Some said that was planning to eat him. Others said she was studying human behavior for some secret mission. A few made cruder suggestions that made his face turn red. He ignored them all. He had work to do. On the 4th day, the merchant found him. Was eating lunch in the common area. It was a large room with tables and chairs designed for different body types. He sat alone at a human-sized table, eating something that the menu called protein stew. It tasted like wet cardboard, but it was nutritious. The slid into the seat across from him. Its long body coiled around the chair like a snake wrapping around a branch. Its scales were deep green, and its eyes were golden slits. "Greetings, human," the said. Its voice was smooth and soft like oil dripping on glass. Looked up from his food. "Hello." He knew this. Everyone on the station knew. The merchant dealt in information, contracts, and special services. Nobody was quite sure what the special services were, but everyone agreed they were probably illegal. Smiled, showing rows of small, sharp teeth. "You remember my name. I am honored." "What do you want?" So direct. "I appreciate that about your species." Leaned forward. "I have a business offer for you, a very profitable one." Kept eating. "I am not interested." "You have not heard the offer yet." "I do not need to hear it. Contracts always have hidden costs." Made a clicking sound with its tongue. It was the equivalent of a laugh. "You are clever, but this offer is different. I represent a consortium of merchants who value human talents. Your species has certain abilities that are rare in the galaxy." "What abilities?" "Adaptability, creativity, the capacity to work with any species without prejudice." His golden eyes gleamed. "We would like to hire you as a permanent liaison. The pay would be 10 times what the station gives you. You would have your own ship, your own crew, complete freedom." Put down his spoon. The offer was good, too good. That meant there was a trap somewhere. "What would I have to do?" he asked. "Simple tasks, negotiations, deliveries. Occasionally you might need to travel to restricted zones, nothing dangerous." Restricted zones. That was the trap. were banned from certain areas of coalition space because of their reputation for smuggling and espionage. They wanted a human face to get past the checkpoints. No, said. Smile did not fade. You should think about it. Your life on this station is small, boring, you deserve better. I like my life. Do you? Moved closer. Its body uncurled slightly and one clawed hand reached across the table, placed its fingers on his arm. Let me show you what we can offer, just a small taste, no commitment. The touch was cold and dry like dead leaves on skin, knew what it meant. Among physical contact during negotiation was a sign of dominance. It was a way of saying, I own this conversation, I own you. He pulled his arm back. I said no. His eyes narrowed. The merchant was not used to rejection. You are making a mistake, human. We always get what we want, one way or another. Before could respond, a shadow fell over the table. He looked up, stood behind her, silver fur bristling. Her ears were flat against her skull. Her lips pulled back to show fangs that were longer than his fingers. Froze. This one is not available, said. Her voice was low and rough, like stones grinding together. The turned slowly. Its scales had gone pale. This is not your concern. I am simply conducting business. You touched him. A gesture of friendship, nothing more. His growl filled the common area. Other aliens stopped eating. They stared at the confrontation. Some began to move toward the exits. You lie, said. I watched, I heard. You tried to bind him with a contract of servitude. You used manipulation and false promises. She stepped closer to. Among my people, this is called hunting another's prey. The punishment is death. Scrambled backward, nearly falling off its chair. I meant no offense. I did not know he belonged to anyone. Now you know. The fled. Its long body slithered across the floor at impressive speed, disappearing through the nearest door. Within seconds, it was gone. Stared at, his heart was beating fast. Thank you, but I could have handled. She turned to face him. Her amber eyes were intense, wild. Something in them made his words die in his throat. You are not safe, she said. Others will try to take you, use you. Your species does not understand how valuable you are. I am just a logistics coordinator. No, she grabbed his wrist. Her grip was strong but not painful. You are honest. You are kind. You do not see the weakness in others and try to exploit it. In this galaxy, that makes you rare. That makes you prey. Before could speak, lifted his arm to her mouth. And bit down. Pain exploded through his forearm. He felt her fangs pierce his skin, felt blood run down his wrist. He tried to pull away, but her grip was iron. Then it was over. She released him and stepped back. Blood dripped from her lips. Her eyes never left his face. The common area was completely silent. Dozens of aliens stared at them. Some looked horrified. Some looked confused. A few from another pack were grinning, their tails wagging. Looked at his arm. A perfect crescent of tooth marks surrounded a patch of torn skin. It hurt badly, but worse than the pain was the confusion. What, he said slowly, did you just do? Licked the blood from her lips. I claimed you. You what? You are mine now. She said it like she was stating a simple fact. The sky is blue, water is wet, you are mine. Opened his mouth, closed it, opened it again. No words came out. Around them, the crowd began to whisper. News of what happened would spread across the station within the hour. By tomorrow, the entire sector would know. A female had claimed a human male. In front of everyone. And still had no idea what that meant. The medical bay was cold and too bright. Sat on a metal table, his arm stretched out in front of him. The wound had stopped bleeding, but it still hurt with every heartbeat. Dr. Bora stood beside him, all 4 arms working at once. 2 arms cleaned the wound. 1 arm prepared the medical gel. The 4th arm typed notes into a floating screen. Bora was with skin and large black eyes that took up half her face. She had been the station's doctor for 12 years. She had seen everything, but even she seemed amused by situation. "You are lucky," she said. "Bites can crush bone." She was gentle with you. "This is gentle," looked at the deep puncture marks in his arm. For a yes, Bora applied the medical gel. It was cold and tingled against his skin. "The wound will heal in 3 days. You will have scars, but they will be small." Watched as his skin began to close. The gel worked fast. In a few minutes, the bite marks were sealed under a thin layer of synthetic skin. "Can I ask you something?" he said. "You want to know what claiming means." "How did you know?" Bora made a sound that might have been a laugh. "Every alien in this station is talking about it. The human who got claimed by it is the most exciting thing that has happened here in years. I am glad my suffering entertains everyone." The doctor pulled up a chair and sat down. She folded 2 of her arms while the other 2 continued checking his vital signs. "Among the claiming is serious business," she said. "When a bites someone in public, they are making a declaration. They are saying that this person belongs to them, under their protection, under their authority. Like property. No, more like a partnership, but it is not equal. The one who bites holds the power. They are responsible for the one they claim. They must provide for them, protect them, fight for them." His head was spinning. "So is now responsible for me." "Yes, and you are tied to her. By law, you cannot make major decisions without her approval. You cannot form contracts with others. You cannot leave the sector without her permission." Bora paused. "You also cannot mate with anyone else." "What?" "Claiming is the first step of courtship. She has announced her intention to make you her mate, her partner for life." Stared at the doctor. His mouth was dry. His heart was pounding. He had talked to exactly twice. They had exchanged maybe 50 words total, and now she wanted to marry him. "This is insane," he said. "By human standards, yes. By standards, she has shown you great honor. Females are very selective. They spend years watching potential mates before making a decision. The fact that she chose you means she sees something valuable in you. She has been watching me for 3 months." "For that is very fast." Bora tilted her head. She must have been very impressed. Buried his face in his hands. This could not be happening. He was a logistics coordinator. He counted boxes and checked manifests. He was not someone that alien wolf women fell in love with. "Can I reject it?" he asked. "The claiming." "Yes, but it is complicated." "How complicated?" Bora pulled up information on her screen. To reject a claiming, you must make a formal declaration before her pack. This declaration must happen during the challenge moon, which only rises once every 3 standard years. "When is the next challenge moon?" "In 2 years and 8 months. Groaned, "So I am stuck for almost 3 years." "Unless you accept the claiming. Then the courtship moves forward and everything becomes much simpler." "Accept it, I barely know her." Bora shrugged with all 4 shoulders. Many species find love in stranger ways. The choose mates through combat tournaments. The bond during chemical exchanges that humans would call poisoning. At least only bit you. That was not comforting. Left the medical bay in a daze. His arm felt strange under the medical gel. His mind felt stranger. He walked through the corridors without really seeing where he was going. Everywhere he went, aliens stared at him. Some pointed, some whispered. A group of young from a trading vessel actually bowed when he passed. He did not know what that meant and he was too afraid to ask. His communication device buzzed. He had 17 messages. 12 were from asking what happened. 3 were from his supervisor demanding an explanation. 2 were from his mother on Earth, who had somehow already heard the news. He ignored all of them. His feet carried him to the observation deck. It was a large room with windows that looked out at the stars. Usually, it was crowded with tourists and off-duty workers. Today, it was empty. Except for... She stood at the far end, her silver fur glowing in the starlight. Her back was to him, but her ears turned at the sound of his footsteps. "Your arm," she said without turning, "it is healed. The doctor fixed it." "Good." Silence fell between them, walked closer. He stopped a few meters away from her, not sure if he should come nearer. "Why?" he asked. It was a simple question, but it carried everything he was feeling: confusion, anger, fear, and something else he could not name. Finally turned to face him. Her amber eyes were calm, patient. She did not look like someone who had just turned his life upside down. "Because you needed protection," she said. "The would not stop. He would have come back. Others would have come too. Your species does not see the danger you are in. So you bit me to protect me." "Partly." "What is the other part?" She was quiet for a moment. When she spoke again, her voice was softer than he had ever heard it. "I have watched you for 93 cycles. I watched you work. I watched you speak. I watched how you treat others." She stepped closer. "You help the maintenance drones when they get stuck. You talk to them like they are alive even though they are just machines. You do not cheat the merchants even when you could. When the child was lost in Sector 4, you searched for 6 hours. You did not stop until you found her." Remembered that night. The little girl had wandered away from her family. Everyone assumed she had fallen into a cargo shaft, but had kept looking. He found her hiding in a storage closet, scared and crying. It was not a big deal. Anyone would have done the same. "That does not explain why you want to marry me," he said. His tail swished. "My people value strength, but strength is not only muscle and fangs. Strength is also honor, kindness, the will to do right even when no one is watching." She looked directly into his eyes. "You have that strength. I have never seen it so pure in anyone before, human or..." He did not know what to say. "I understand if you are angry," she continued. "I did not ask your permission. Among my people, asking is seen as weakness. But I forget that humans are different. I should have spoken to you first." It was not an apology, but it was close. Looked at this alien woman who had claimed him without warning. She was tall and dangerous. She could kill him with one swipe of her claws. Every instinct told him he should be afraid. But he was not. He was curious. "If I accept this claiming," he said slowly, "what happens next?" His ears perked up. It was the first sign of hope he had seen on her face. "Then we learn each other," she said, slowly, as humans do. "And if I do not accept?" "Then I wait for 2 years and 8 months, until the challenge moon rises." Her eyes did not waver. "I am patient. I will wait as long as you need." Looked out at the stars. His life had been simple before today, boring even. Now it was complicated in ways he never imagined. But maybe that was not a bad thing. "Tell me about your," he said. Smiled. It was the first time he had seen her smile. Her fangs caught the starlight, and somehow she looked beautiful. "It is cold," she began. "The forests go on forever. At night, 3 moons rise over the mountains, and the sky turns silver like my fur." They stood together at the window, 2 strangers from different worlds, as she told him about home. It was a beginning. News traveled fast in space. Within 1 week, the story of the human and the had reached every corner of coalition territory. News channels talked about it. Diplomats discussed it. Internet forums exploded with arguments. Some called it beautiful, a sign that different species could find connection across the stars. Others called it dangerous, an aggressive alien species claiming a human-like property. A few extremists on Earth demanded military action against the. They were ignored, but they were loud. Tried not to read the news. It only made his headache worse. His supervisor had placed him on temporary leave, not because he did anything wrong, but because his presence was causing chaos. Every trader who visited the station wanted to see the human who had been claimed. Some wanted interviews. Some wanted pictures. A few merchants offered large sums of money for exclusive rights to his story. He refused them all. Instead, he spent his days learning about her culture, about her people, about what it meant to be claimed. They met every evening on the observation deck. Sometimes they talked for hours. Sometimes they sat in comfortable silence, watching ships come and go. Learned that was 73 years old, which was young for a. Her people lived for 300 years on average. She was the daughter of a minor pack leader on the eastern continent of her. She had left to become a trader because she wanted to see the galaxy. My father was not happy, she told him one night. Daughters of pack leaders are supposed to stay home, find strong mates, have many children, but I wanted more than that. What did you want? She looked at the stars. To find someone worthy, not just strong, not just wealthy, someone with true honor. Her amber eyes found his. Someone like you. Still did not fully understand why she had chosen him. He was not strong. He was not wealthy. He was average in almost every way, but saw something in him that others did not. And slowly he was beginning to see something in her too. She was not cold as he first thought. She was careful. Years of living among species that feared her kind had taught her to hide her feelings. But when she let her guard down, she was warm, playful, even. She made jokes that he did not always understand. She laughed at his confusion with a sound like thunder rolling over mountains. He was starting to like that sound. But not everyone was happy about their relationship. On the 10th day after the claiming, received a message from. The pack leader wanted to meet. It was not a request. Found him in a private room near the docking bays. Stood in the center, his massive arms crossed over his chest. His brown fur was dark and thick, marked with scars from old battles. His golden eyes were hard. Sit said. There were no chairs, did not use them, remained standing. You do not follow orders well, observed. I am not part of your pack. Not yet. The big began to circle him. It was a predator's movement, slow, deliberate, assessing. My sister has chosen you, this creates problems. Sister, had not known they were related. Yes, is the youngest of our family. Our father sent me to watch over her when she left home, to protect her from making foolish decisions. Stopped in front of him. I believe she has made a foolish decision. She chose me, that is her right. Laughed, it was not a friendly sound. You know our laws better than I expected. Yes, it is her right. Among a female chooses her mate. No one can stop her, not even family. He leaned closer. His breath was hot and smelled of raw meat. But rights and wisdom are not the same thing. You think I am unworthy. I think you are weak, small, soft. Your species has been in space for 15 years. Mine has ruled the stars for 10,000. You have no fangs, no claws, no pack to defend you. In society, you would be prey, nothing more. His heart was beating fast. Fear crawled up his spine, but he did not look away. Does not think I am weak, he said. Is blinded by emotion. She sees kindness and mistakes it for strength. She sees honor and forgets that honor alone cannot protect you. Claws extended, each one was as long as hand. I could kill you right now, end this foolishness. No one would blame me. Your species would protest, but they would do nothing. You are one human, we are an empire. Stood very still. The claws were centimeters from his throat. One swipe would end his life. He knew it, knew it. But running would not help. If he showed fear now, he would prove right. He would prove that humans were weak, that he was unworthy of. So he did what humans did best. He refused to give up. If you kill me, said calmly, you will break law. A claiming protects both the claimer and the claimed. Harm to either is punishable by blood debt. Your family would owe my species compensation, possibly even territory. He paused. Your father would be very unhappy. His eyes widened, then narrowed. You know more than I thought. I read a lot. Reading will not save you in a fight. Maybe not, but it helps me avoid fights I cannot win. Met this gaze. I am not your enemy. I did not ask for this claiming, but I will not run from it either. Your sister chose me. I do not fully understand why, but I respect her choice, and I will do my best to be worthy of it. The silence stretched between them. Claws were still extended. His muscles were tense. He could kill in less than a second. Then slowly, the claws retracted. You have courage, admitted. Stupid courage, but courage. Humans call it stubbornness. Is there a difference? Thought about it, not really. Made a sound deep in his throat. It took a moment to realize he was laughing. My sister chose strangely, the pack leader said, but perhaps not foolishly. You face death without flinching. You use words as weapons when you have no fangs. Among my people, these are valued traits. He stepped back. I will not kill you today, human, but I will watch you. If you bring shame to my sister, I will tear out your spine and hang it from our ship. That seems fair. Shook his head. Humans, you are all insane. He left without another word, stood alone in the empty room, his legs shaking. The fear he had pushed down came rushing back. His hands trembled. His breath came in short gasps. He had almost died. But he had not. He had stood his ground. He had used knowledge instead of strength. And somehow he had earned a tiny bit of respect from a creature who could crush him like paper. Maybe that was what being human meant. Not being the strongest, not being the fastest, just being too stubborn to know when to quit. The door opened behind him, walked in. Her amber eyes swept the room, then settled on his face. You spoke with my brother. He wanted to kill me. Yes, she walked closer, but he did not. No. She reached out and touched his cheek. Her claws were gentle against his skin. You were afraid. Terrified. But you did not run. Running would not have helped. She smiled that fanged smile that he was learning to love. No, it would not have. She pulled him into an embrace. Her fur was warm against his face. Her heart beat slow and steady against his ear. My brother thinks you are strange. Am I? Yes, she held him, but I like strange. Strange is interesting, strong is boring. Laughed into her fur. His arms wrapped around her waist. She was twice his size, but somehow he felt safe. I think I am starting to like you too, he said. Starting, her voice was teasing. I claimed you 2 weeks ago. You are very slow. Humans take time. I have noticed. She pulled back and looked at him. But I am patient, I told you. I will wait as long as you need. He reached up and touched the place where she had bitten him. The scars were small now, almost invisible, but he could still feel them under his fingertips. Maybe you will not have to wait too long, he said. Her tail began to wag. She tried to stop it, failed. Her ears flattened with embarrassment. Smiled. The galaxy was vast and strange and sometimes terrifying. But in this moment, standing in the arms of a wolf woman who had claimed him against all logic, he felt something he had not felt in years. He felt like he belonged. 6 months had passed since the day bit him in the trading hall. In that time, everything had changed. No longer worked as a simple logistics coordinator. The claiming had made him famous across coalition space. More importantly, it had made humans interesting to species that had ignored them before. Suddenly, everyone wanted to work with the strange creatures who could win over even the proud. The Coalition Council invited him to speak about human relations. Ambassadors requested meetings. Universities asked him to lecture about cultural exchange. His face appeared on news channels so often that he stopped watching them completely. But the biggest change was personal. He was going to. The Crimson Fang departed Relay Station 7 on a clear morning, stood at the observation window, watching the station grow smaller behind them. He had lived there for over a year. It had been his home. Now he was leaving it for a place he had only seen in pictures. stood beside him, her silver fur brushing against his arm. She had not left his side since they boarded. Her excitement was obvious. Her tail kept wagging. Her ears perked forward every time someone mentioned home. "Nervous?" she asked. "A little. My family will love you. Your brother wants to tear out my spine. That is how he shows affection." Was not sure if she was joking. The journey took 3 weeks. Space was far from the central systems, past the edge of coalition territory. The stars grew fewer. The darkness grew deeper. By the time they reached their destination, felt like they had traveled to the end of the universe. Then the planet appeared. It was beautiful, massive, covered in endless forests of blue and purple trees. 3 moons hung in the sky, casting silver light across the surface. Mountains rose in the distance, their peaks white with snow. Rivers cut through the land like veins of silver. "Home," whispered. There was longing in her voice, pride, love. Understood. He felt the same way about Earth. The ship landed at a port city on the eastern continent. Thousands had gathered to watch. Word of the claimed human had reached even here. Was probably the first human most of them had ever seen. He walked down the ramp with beside him. The crowd watched in silence. He could feel their eyes on him, measuring, judging, wondering if this small, soft creature was really worthy of a pack daughter. A path opened through the crowd. At the end stood a group of who looked older than the others. Their fur was streaked with. Their eyes held the weight of many years. The one in front was massive, even larger than. His fur was the same silver as, and his eyes were amber gold. He wore a simple cloak of black leather, decorated with symbols that did not recognize. This was Father, the pack leader. Stopped before him and bowed. It was a human gesture, but he hoped it would translate. "Pack leader," he said, "I am. Your daughter has honored me with her claiming. I come to your world with respect and humility." The old studied him. His gaze was heavy, penetrating, felt like he was being dissected by those ancient eyes. "My daughter sent messages about you," the pack leader said. His voice was deep and rough, like stones grinding together. "She says you are honest, kind, worthy of our blood." He paused. "My son says you are small and soft and should be eaten." Heard growls somewhere behind him. "Which do you believe?" asked. The pack leader's lips pulled back in what might have been a smile. "I believe that my children are both fools who think they understand the world. My daughter judges with her heart. My son judges with his pride. Neither sees clearly." "And you?" "I judge with my eyes." The old stepped closer. He was so tall that had to crane his neck to meet his gaze. "I see a creature who should be afraid, who should run, who should hide behind his species' weapons and walls." He sniffed. "But I smell no fear on you, only determination, only resolve." "Humans do not run," said. "It is not our way." "So I have heard." The pack leader turned to address the crowd. "My daughter has claimed this human. By our law she has chosen. No one may challenge this choice until the time of trials." He looked back at. "The trials will determine if you are truly worthy. If you pass, you will be accepted into our pack. You will be family. And if I fail, then you will leave. The claiming will end. My daughter will mourn you, but she will recover." His eyes held no cruelty, only truth. "These are our ways. They are harsh, but they are fair." Nodded. He had known this was coming, had explained everything during their talks. The trials were tests of strength, endurance, and skill. Most mates passed easily because most mates were. A human had never attempted them before. "I am ready," he said. The trials began the next morning. The first trial was hunting. Was given a spear and sent into the forest to kill a beast called a thornback. It was a creature the size of a bear, covered in spikes and armor plates. Children hunted them during their coming-of-age ceremonies. Failed immediately. He tripped over a root while tracking the beast. The noise scared it away. He spent 6 hours wandering through the forest, lost and frustrated, before finally returning empty-handed. They laughed, some mocked him openly, looked ready to declare him unworthy right there. But the pack leader raised his hand. The trial is about effort, not success. He tried, he did not give up, the trial continues. The second trial was combat. Faced a young warrior in a fighting circle. The rules were simple. First one to yield or fall unconscious loses. The fight lasted 12 seconds. They hit him once, flew backward and slammed into the ground. Stars exploded in his vision. He could not breathe. His ribs screamed with pain. But he got up. They hit him again. He fell again, he got up again. This happened 7 times. By the end, could barely stand. Blood ran from his nose. His left eye was swollen shut. 3 of his ribs were cracked. But he did not yield. The pack leader stopped the fight. Enough, he has proven his point. They were no longer laughing. They stared at the broken human who refused to stay down. Confusion and respect mixed in their eyes. The third trial was endurance, was made to run alongside warriors for a full day. No rest, no food, no water. He collapsed after 16 hours. But the warriors he was running with had expected him to collapse after 2. They carried him back to the settlement with something like admiration in their eyes. "Your species," one of them said, "does not know when to quit." "We know," gasped through cracked lips. "We just choose not to." The final trial was not physical. It was a test of wisdom. Stood before the pack elders and answered their questions about culture, history, and law. He had spent months studying. He had memorized everything taught him. He answered every question correctly. When the trials ended, the pack leader summoned everyone to the great hall. Thousands have gathered beneath a ceiling of carved stone. Torches flickered on the walls. The air smelled of smoke and old traditions. Stood in the center, battered and exhausted. Stood beside him, her hand wrapped around his. She had not left his side since the trials began. The pack leader announced, "You have completed the trials. You failed at hunting. You failed at combat. You nearly died during endurance." He paused. "And yet you never stopped trying. You never asked for mercy. You never ran." The old descended from his seat and walked toward. The crowd parted before him. "My ancestors believed that strength was everything, that only the powerful deserved to survive." He stopped in front of, but they were wrong. True strength is not muscle or fangs. It is the will to continue when all hope seems lost. It is the refusal to surrender, even when you cannot win. He placed his hand on shoulder. The grip was gentle, almost fatherly. "You have shown more strength in these trials than many I have known. You have earned the right to stand among us, to call our world your home, to call my daughter your mate." The crowd erupted. Howls filled the air. Feet stomped against the stone floor. The sound was deafening. Pulled into her arms. She was crying. He had never seen a cry before. Her tears soaked into his hair as she held him tight. "You did it," she whispered. "You stubborn, impossible human, you did it." He held her back. His body hurt everywhere. His mind was foggy with exhaustion, but his heart was full. "I had a good reason," he said. "What reason?" He pulled back and looked into her amber eyes. The eyes that had watched him for 93 days. The eyes that had seen something in him that he never saw himself. "You," he said simply. Her tail wagged. She did not try to stop it this time. She kissed him and the crowd howled louder. Later that night, they stood on the balcony of her family's home, looking up at the 3 moons. The sky was silver, just like she had promised. The forest stretched endlessly below them. Somewhere in the distance, thornbacks howled at the moons. "Are you happy?" she asked. Considered the question. He was a human on an alien world, surrounded by creatures who could kill him without effort. He had failed most of his trials. He had scars that would never fully heal. His family was millions of light years away. And yet he had never felt more alive. Yes, he said, I am happy. Leaned her head against his shoulder. Her fur was warm in the cold night air. Her heart beat steady against his arm. Good, she said, because you are stuck with me now, forever. That was always the plan. She laughed, that beautiful thunder-rolling laugh that he had learned to love. Above them, the moons shone silver. Around them, the galaxy continued its endless dance. And two people from different worlds held each other close, proving that some things were stronger than distance, stronger than difference, stronger than fear. Love was strange, unexpected. Sometimes it arrived with fangs and claws and a bite that changed everything. But it was worth it. It was always worth it.